Good evening, learners. Today we shall be looking at agricultural laws and reforms. At the end of this lesson, learners should be able to explain the Land Use Decree of 1978 and its characteristics features, list the advantages and disadvantages of the Land Use Decree in Nigeria, list and explain the land tenure systems in Nigeria, government laws on land or land use decree or act. As a result of the problems created by the system of land ownership, the federal government of Nigeria in 1978, precisely in 28th of March, promulgated a decree on land use in Nigeria by General Olusegun Obasanjo. This decree was known as Land Use Decree of 1978, known as Land Use Act. The decree states the following. Number one, all land in Nigeria belongs to the federal government. The ultimate power of land ownership is vested on the state government. The state governors or any person delegated by the governors is the only one who can issue certificate of occupancy to an individual. And with this C of O, the person can now have claim to the land. The decree stipulates that individual can only use a piece of land for 99 years, after which the land reverts back to the government. Crop production is allocated 5,000 hectares of land, while animal grazing is allotted 5,000 hectares of land. Every Nigerian is qualified to acquire land once he or she attains the age of 21 years. What are the aims of Land Use Decree? Are they correcting most of the anomalies existing in other systems of land tenure? Land Use Decree aims at reallocating land in order to make more land available to intending farmers for large-scale agricultural production. One of the purposes is to streamline and simplify the management and ownership of land in the country, to facilitate planning or formation of programs for particular land use. It encourages proper production and efficient use of land. Advantages of Land Use Decree. It enables the land to be used properly and efficiently. People can now acquire land outside their tribe or state. Large hectares of land can be acquired for agricultural purposes. Certificate of occupancy can be used to source loan from the banks. It equally curbs the excesses of land speculators. What are the disadvantages of Land Use Decree? Number one, it delays the execution of projects because it takes time to acquire the certificate of occupancy, that is C of O. The procedure involved in the acquisition of land are too stringent for an average farmer. Number three, it enables only wealthy individuals to have more land. Number four, it makes land held by inheritance insecure. It creates room for irregularities, as land speculators may backdate land agreement before the decree. Land tenure system. What is land tenure? Land tenure is a system of land ownership or acquisition by individual, family, community, or government agency. Systems of land tenure. Number one, we have the communal land tenure ownership. Land is collectively owned by the community from which it is entrusted in the hands of a family or clan, community, or village head. Every member of the community has a right to use the land for agriculture, but cannot sell any portion of the land. Disadvantages of communal land tenure system. Each member of the community, advantages of communal land tenure system. Each member of the community has easy access to the land. Cooperative farming is possible since the land is extensive. The land is cheap to acquire as no cost is involved. Reduces land abuse by greedy committee members. Land is held in trust for future generations. Disadvantages of communal land tenure system. Number one, land allocation is difficult and can lead to clashes. Land cannot be used to obtain loans. Land is difficult to obtain for agricultural development. Not adaptable to modern agriculture due to land fragmentation. No incentives for permanent improvement. Individual land ownership. This is where an individual within the community owns land either through inheritance, purchase, gift, or lease. Then it can also be possible by pledge. Land tenure by inheritance. The land is acquired by the male heirs of the initial acquirer of such land. This occurs where a piece of land owned by an ancestor is transferred within the family from generation to generation. The inherited land is shared among all his children, and this eventually leads to fragmentation of land. Advantages of land tenure by inheritance. The land can be used as collateral to obtain loans from commercial banks. The land can be improved by way of fertilizer application. Permanent crops can be planted since the land belongs to the rightful owner. The disadvantages. It leads to excessive land fragmentation, which makes the land very difficult and uneconomical to work. Sharing of the land is a delicate issue, which often generates bitter enmity among family members. Cultivators are tied to their plots. It is difficult to assess how far the individual has the right to use and control a piece of inherited land freely. Landowners generally feel that it is immoral to sell land, since it robs future generations of the opportunity to inherit the land. Land tenure by lease system. This requires the payment of certain amount of money for the land, for the use of the land over a stated period of time. There is a special contract existing between the leaseor and the leasee. The leasee will exercise his right on the use and maintenance of the land for the period of lease. The land is held for a fixed known length of time on agreed specific conditions. Advantages of land tenure by leasehold system. It ensures the use of available land. It enables farmers to maximize the use of the land in terms of maintenance of the soil fertility in order to improve productivity of crops. Disadvantage of this system. The land cannot be used as security to obtain loan from commercial banks. The farmer cannot develop the land beyond the lease agreement terms. Perennial crops cannot be grown on such land. It does not permit control of the land by the community. Land tenure by rent. The farmer rents the land for use over a short period of time, during which certain amount of money is paid as rent for the use of it. The agreement may be reviewed after expiration. What are the advantages of this system? It makes the use of available land for agricultural purposes. The land is efficiently used and maintained for maximum production within short period. Disadvantages. The land cannot be used for securing loans. It affects long-term planning. There is limitation in the development of such land. Land tenure by purchase or freehold. This is real property involving the most absolute title possible over a piece of land, which can pass from the owner to his heirs. Such land can be acquired by purchasing. It may also be given out as a gift of land owning communities. It gives owner complete freedom on the land. Advantages. The farmer can use the land to secure loans from the banks. Perennial crops may be grown on such land. Proper planning and development of such land can be done. Disadvantages of land tenure by purchase or freehold. The land may be too expensive to purchase. Unrestricted freehold can, however, be held to violate the right of a state to control its land. It creates independence among landowners, which may result in abuse of the land with serious effects on the community. Land may fall under the control of persons who make no effort to improve it or to take fullest use of it. Land tenure by free gift or pledge. Here the land is donated or given out of goodwill, or free of charge in appreciation or as incentive. The new owner does not need to pay any money. The advantages of this system. It ensures the maximum use of the land for increased production. Plantation agriculture can be practiced. It can be used as for securing loans from the bank. Disadvantage. The ownership of the land can be challenged at any time. There may be disagreement over such gift among family members. Tenant at will of government. Here land is owned by the government and anybody using it does so at the will of the government. It is allocated or given to a farmer by government, and the farmer has to pay a certain amount of money for using such land, usually for a stipulated period of time. Advantages of this system. Farmers can easily have access to the land. The land is widely used for productive purposes. The land is cheap to acquire. The land can easily be improved by way of fertilizer application. Disadvantages of this system. The system may involve excessive bureaucratic control, which may handicap initiative and lead to political discontent. Permanent crops cannot be cultivated on such land. Farmers cannot use the land as collateral to secure loans from the bank. Such land can easily be revoked if tenants fail to pay the rent at the right time. Revision questions. Number 1, define the term land tenure system. Number 1B, briefly discuss 3 types of land tenure system and state 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of each system. Briefly discuss land use decree. That's number 2A. Number 2B, state 2 advantages and 2 disadvantages of the decree. Number 3, discuss briefly the essential features of the following: communal land tenure, individual land tenure and their effect on agriculture. Okay, if you find it difficult to go over this revision question, go over the video again, and we have this confidence that at the end you'll be able to answer or attempt the questions correctly. Thank you for being here today.